Hi guys, welcome to the channel. We've been really busy on the truck. We've got the front wings on, the injection pump on, the turbo fitted, radiator's all mounted up, and we're at the point now where we're ready to start it up. But before we do, let's jump back in time and see how we got to this point. So in this video, we're going to be fitting the injection pump, fitting the turbo properly. It's just mocked up at the minute, getting oil lines to it and everything. Getting the oil cooler pipes mounted, getting the oil cooler fitted, fitting the front wings. I'll show you all the parts. I've got them all laid out on the back of the truck, and then we'll get into the video. So this is where we are. We've got a Rover V8 radiator, a made up bottom hose. We've got some oil cooler pipes made up. They're in AN10 fittings to go into the oil filter housing to connect to the pipes. We've got a Diesel Pump UK copper exhaust manifold gasket. We've also got a copper turbo gasket, a new inlet manifold gasket. We've got an oil cooler, turbo oil feed line and the fittings. And the most important piece, we have got this new injection pump. So that'll make this engine fully mechanical. So no electronics, just turn it around. Simple throttle cable. Easy as that. So let's get into it. Right, I'm just going to pull this injection pump off. There's Diesel Pump UK has actually done some great videos in how to remove the injection pump from these and the proper procedure to do it in. I'm not going to bore you guys with a 20-minute injection pump removal video. So I'm just going to speed through getting this off. Get that belt off. So just pulled all the injection pipes off, and I've just taken the water pump pulley off. And I've been rotating the engine round until I've got to 17 degrees, which is what a standard one of these should be. And then you line up a little pointer in the back of the pump. It's really hard to see, but that has to be in the centre. So we know this is 17 degrees, this engine, and it's completely standard. So now I'm going to do 2 full rotations and then go back to 11 degrees because my new pump needs to be fitted at 11, and then we'll take this pump off, fit the new pump on, and yeah, all should be good. So I just pulled the idler off the front, and now I'm just going to undo the ring of bolts and take the vacuum pump off, and then we can get to the big bolt that holds the pump on. So that's the vacuum pump off. This is a left-handed thread. It says L on the end of it, so that's just make sure that's a left-handed thread when you undo that. And then the 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3, and the injection pump should just come off. Hopefully, I say. It always feels so wrong when you're doing a left-hand thread. It always feels like you're going to break something because it's just not a nice feeling, is it? Tightening the bolt the wrong way. And that's it. That's the bolt that holds everything together. Then there's just those 3. We should be able to just wiggle the pump off. That's it, guys. Pump off. So we're ready to install this new injection pump now. I'm going to put I bought a lock-in tool. Let's see if you can see down there. Can't really see it, but there's a little sharp pointer. And then the tool's got a little groove. That sits on the end. It's lined up with a little groove on that end. And then it stops it turning as you install the pump. So that then locks that pump in that position, so we know that it's bang on perfect. Then when we line everything up, we should be good. Right, let's get this popped on. Nicely painted front wings, they're ready to go on. And then I'll show you my plans for the oil cooler. That's a bit different, so see what you think to that in a minute. But it seems to have buttered up really nice. I'm just going to put a little bit of tension on that centre bolt and then give it 2 full rotations and then check my timing mark, because obviously you've got to remember to take that out first. Right, let's check our timing mark. Bang in the centre. Perfect. Right, I think injection pipes back on. I'll start putting it back together. So that's all the injector pipes back on. I just need to adjust these a little bit. I'm not very happy with the way they sat there. And I need to get a load of new plastic clips to fasten them down. But the next thing I think we're going to do is the oil cooler, or the oil filter. The oil filter housing needs to fit in, and then we can attach the oil cooler lines. So this is where we got to with the oil filter housing. I need to remove these 2 pipes. I've actually snapped a bolt off, or snapped the head of my Allen key in that one, so it's going to be a bit of a devil. I can then fit these 2 AN10 fittings into there. Then I can install these 2 lines to the oil cooler. And I've just got this fit in, which screws in where this blanking plug was. And then I can fit the oil pressure sender and the oil pressure switch. So an oil pressure sender, so I've got a gauge, and the switch will be the red dummy light on the dashboard. Then I'm going to give it a quick clean up, and then as soon as we've done that, we can just bolt the exhaust manifold back on with a new gasket, turbo down, oil lines to that, and then I think, apart from a couple of fuel lines, we're ready to try and make some noise. So I've cleaned it all out, made it really nice, and then I'll give it a quick coat of paint, nice and clean inside. I did it with petrol and a brush, got it nice and clean, and then washed it all out with electrical degreaser or solvent degreaser. So I'll just wait for that to dry, then we'll pop it back onto the motor, and we'll start getting the oil lines hooked up. I'll just get the oil cooler and show you guys my idea with that, so you can see it in position. My thinking is, this is the cooler I'm going to run. It'll mount underneath that wing, and then the air that will go through that cowl will go straight through the oil cooler. So hopefully that works. I can't see why it won't. We'll give it a go. That is the oil filter housing bolted back on, and I fitted the 2 AN10 fittings. If you are doing one of these on an OM606, put the oil filter housing on before you put the starter on, because the bolts are right under there and they are fun to get to. So that's something I should have done beforehand, but obviously you live and learn. Right, I'll get the oil cooler hoses put on, and then I think we can put the turbo on after that, or get the turbo fitted properly after that. Right, get them put on now. Right guys, these are my 2 nice new lines. I had these made up, so they'll fit on there and go to the oil cooler. We'll get those put on now. Just put the shorter one to the bottom. So guys, this is the oil cooler I'm going to use. I'm going to mount it so it sits above this wheel here. Obviously we've got the inner wheel arch that will protect it from stones, and then the air will come through that vent and through it. And I've got my 2 hoses connected, one to there and the other one to there, hopefully. So we'll bolt those on, and then I might just drop the inner wing on to see how it looks. I think that's going to be a pretty good fit. And that's 2 on. So we're going to tie up all them cables up, all them pipes up nice and neat, but I think that'll sit quite nicely there. And hopefully should get plenty of airflow through it. And it keeps, my main concern was to keep it out of the radiator, because I know these engines are prone to running a bit warm. So if we can keep 90% of the airflow through the rad and not block it off with an oil cooler, it can't be a bad thing. We can run the engine at that, it's fine to run with it just hanging there. So that's that bit sorted. I think next is going to be the turbo, pulling the turbo off, putting that new exhaust manifold gasket on, bolting it all down properly and getting the turbo feed line connected. Right, we'll pull that off and get on with that next. Right guys, grab some spanners, pull this off. It shouldn't take long because I think it's only on with a couple of bolts. Soon have this off and then we can have a look at getting it on properly. I'm looking forward to getting the fuel lines fitted and getting this thing to fire up. I actually really want to hear what the exhaust sounds like. So we haven't got any silencers in this thing, so I've got a feeling it's going to be quite loud. I seem to remember this being a tight fit to get in and out anyway. Just drop the turbo off. Right, get a ratchet and pull them bolts off. That'll be the manifold off. There we go. So this car originally had an EGR system and now we're running it with a mechanical pump, and obviously it's in an older vehicle, we don't need the EGR system anymore. So we just need to make a blocker or stopper to go in there, use the original clamp to hold it in because we can't have an exhaust leak there. Obviously we want the exhaust gas to go through the turbo. So I'll make that up as well and then we'll refit it. Right guys, what I found, crank bolt for 200 TDI. I don't need this one because it's spare one. I'm going to put that in the lathe, machine it down so it slots into there. Obviously chop that excess off when I finish. I can use that as for the lathe to hold it. Machine it down so it sits in there nicely, and then put a little tiny flange on it so that the clamp will then clamp it into the back like that type of thing. And then that'll stop the EGR, the exhaust gas escaping out there and completely bung the old EGR port up. I'll do that now and then I'll show you in a sec once I've done it. My lathe's about 1,000 year old, it's a prehistoric old beast, but it does still work, so we'll get that done now. Just machining this now. Like I said, my lathe's an old machine, but it does still do a job. Stuff like this is perfect. It's not super precise anymore for machining engine parts, but for this sort of job, it's spot on. So this is what I've made. You can still see it's a little bit bolt shaped. I've just machined it in the lathe. Just clean the top of that up with the soft disc. Fits in there. I'm going to put a bit of exhaust paste around it. Then that clamp will just hold it in. Then I've got a completely bunged EGR port. And it's got a bit of Landrover on the Mercedes, so that'll be the bit that leaks oil or blows up, so all good. So I've just wire brushed all the exhaust manifold up, got it nice and clean, give it a quick coat of high temperature black. I'm not expecting that to last forever, it's just it keeps it nice looking while we're doing the build. But as soon as that's dry, we'll get it put on. I'm just going to nip to town, pick up a bag of M8 stainless penny washers and some M8 nuts, but I'll be back in just a sec and then we'll fit it on. So it's the next day. I've been and got all my bolts and nuts and washers. I've got some M10s to bolt this adapter to the exhaust manifold, and I did just have to modify the exhaust manifold slightly. Let's see if you guys can see. To get the nut in there, you end up having to grind off just a little bit of flange on the back, and then you drill those out to 10mm because they're 8 at factory. So I've drilled those out and I've just cleaned up that little back edge, and then we can fit this diesel pump adapter, which has got the actual port in it, so I'm going to put an exhaust gas temperature probe in there. So I get that bolted to that, then I can bolt the manifold to the engine, and then we can put the turbo on. So that's the exhaust manifold all bolted on with the adapter, and I've just dropped the front pipe in because I don't think I can get that in and out with the turbo on. It's a bit tight through the little gap that it goes. So next job, let's get the turbo bolted on. So guys, this is the turbo we're using. It's brand new. It's one my brother bought for a project and it was too big for his. So hoping it's going to be about the right size for this. If it is too big, we can always put a smaller one on at a later date, but I think it should be about okay, about the right size, but time will tell when we get down the road, see how quickly it makes boost. Right, we'll get this bit on, and then oil lines, that's the next challenge. Then I think we're ready to connect some fuel lines up and see if it'll run. So that's the turbo all mounted up in position. I'm thinking I've got this fitting, it's like an extended AN4 to go in the top of the turbo. Let's drop that in. And I'm thinking for the oil line, it's going to run down the side of the rocker cover like that, and then into that fitting. So if I put that on loosely, and then if I get 3 addle clamps, I'll be able to clip it along there, and I'll keep that out of the way and keep it nice. So I'll get that done now, and then the only other thing I've got to do then is the oil return from the turbo, which is not a big job. I'm just going to run it into the standard oil return that the OM606 engine had. Then we've got 2 fuel lines to connect. We've got the oil filter just dropped in loose, then we can fill it with engine oil, crank it over and see if we can build oil pressure. As soon as we've done that, we'll let it have some fuel, and it should go. Right, we'll get on with the next bit. So guys, I just thought I'd show you where I'm up to. It's pretty dark out, it's late evening. The workshop's a bomb site at the moment. Just been working on this tonight, tunes on and just getting a few bits done. So I'll show you where we're up to. We've got the turbo all installed, I've got the fuel lines routed, I've bled the fuel system up, you know, pulled fuel up to the pump, and I've got this wing installed. I haven't riveted this down yet, it's still loose. And I'll show you how I've mounted the oil cooler. That's underneath that cover. I've got some little brackets. It's just mounted in there. I'm going to put another one on this corner, but I've just painted it, it's just drying now. But yeah, I mean, we're very close to running it now. I've got the oil system, well, I've got it full of oil, and I filled it through the oil filter, so hopefully it'll prime pretty quickly. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to push it outside tomorrow, get this other front wing on, and hopefully in the morning we'll see it running. So really close now. I can't wait to hear what it sounds like. going that way.
Look happy back there. Oh, it's got heavy inside. Oh,
It's definitely heavy.
definitely heavy. It's got heavy.
So we've had a couple of late evenings on the truck. We've got the front wings on, inner wings. I'll just show you where we've got to. So the turbo's mounted and the oil line's fastened up. The fuel lines are connected to the back of the pump and they run around the back of the engine. The wiring all needs tying up. It's just sort of draped in place at the minute, but I want to get everything connected. We've got the vacuum system plumbed up for now. To the bottom of the brake booster, and then I've got a pipe so that I can stop the truck if it starts.
Intercooler.
Oil cooler.
Oil cooler, even.
Yes, the oil cooler is mounted under there, and if Brendan just lifts that little cover off, that shows you where the air should flow through that. We can mount a fan underneath if there's not enough airflow. The radiator is sat back from its original mounting point, so it's sat back. So that we can get the intercooler in this little gap at the front. So that's the plan, is to mount the intercooler in there, take the intercooler pipework through the wing and then out of that wing, so it comes from the turbo, round the corner, through the wing, across the front of the radiator, back through that side and then up into the inlet manifold.
She's currently missing.
Yeah, no inlet manifold at the minute.
Or glow plugs.
But I think without further ado, let's stick the camera up near the exhaust, get the other camera set up and turn the key and see if we can make this thing do anything.
Make some noise. Make some noise, smell bad. Must be running.
Right guys, this is it. Let's give it a go. So I filled the oil, I filled the sump up with engine oil, but I filled it all through the oil filter housing. So hopefully it's primed the oil pump and it'll build oil pressure quickly. So we'll see. Just turn it over. I've got the oil light wired up on the dash, so let's see what happens. Ready?
Ready. Fire in the hole. Whoa, whoa! Three, oh, anticlimax.
Wow guys, that sounds really good. I just put the mic near the exhaust.
Some smokestack lightning. Oh, you beauty. She's a quick revving little monster, isn't she?
It sure is. That is fast. That pump is
That's
really
super responsive.
Well, that sounds good.
That does sound good. That sounds good. What a day.
She's up for that.
She's a runner. She's a runner.
Right,
Yeah.
let's grab the camera and have a look round.
Yeah, she sounds nice. When that's on song, it's going to howl.
It's gonna scream.
It's going to absolutely howl. So fast on the pickup, like boom, boom, just.
That is
It's
a
off.
lot more responsive than I was anticipating. That is snappy on the throttle.
Slightly more snappy in my 200 TDI.
A little bit. Well, mine's the same. My 200 TDI is not. It's not like that.
It's not like that, no. No, she sounds like she wants to rev, doesn't she?
I think that's going to be amazing to drive. I think this is going to be great. I've got. It might be a little loud.
It might be a bit loud. I think it might be all right when you're not on the throttle hard and when you're cruising. I think it might be all right. But when you open it up and let her eat, she's gonna make
scream.
some noise. Yeah.
So I think next thing, guys, we're going to have to wire some glow plugs up. So I think that would have started a lot quicker with the glow plugs.
Yeah, I think she's finding she really wants the glow plugs connecting.
But what a first start that is. That's amazing. I'm
Yeah.
absolutely chuffed with that.
Yeah, God, it sounds so good, doesn't it? It sounds so good. You'll be pleased with that. Oil colours all
Don't see any
oil tight.
oil running anywhere. No, that's all good. We've got oil pressure within the first sort of minute of turning, so that's good.
So, good news.
The brand new alternator's not charging, so that's a.
And the way she was spinning up then when you were revving her with no intake manifold, turbo's not plumbed in regarding the intercooler and the pipework. I mean, wow.
I think it's going to be fairly pokey.
Yeah, I reckon she's going to go. Yeah, because she's going to haul.
Well.
What a day! She's a runner.
I'm really happy with the way that sounds.
Yeah, it's flipping woo El Dudio. It's ace. You've got to be pleased with that. Everybody's got to be pleased with that, surely.
Well, thanks for watching. Really, thank you for watching this video. If you do fancy subscribing, it really does help the channel grow. We're nearly to the point where I think we're at nearly 900 subscribers now, so that'll be really good if you can consider that. It's free, no obligation, just it does help.
All support's welcome.
Next video, we're going to be mounting the radiator properly, fitting the intercooler, painting the bonnet, fitting the roof, maybe getting a door or two on this thing, and it will be nearly ready to drive. I'm so close. We are so close to this thing driving now. So, see you in the next one.
All the best.